Good morning and welcome to our live stream demonstration of InspectRealEstate. Here with me today is Andrew Rees, co-founder of InspectRealEstate, just to give you a quick brief on how InspectRealEstate was formed.
Hi Priscilla. Yeah, well, InspectRealEstate basically was born from when you and I used to work together at a company called Pro Rentals, which started in 1998 with 31 properties under management. We managed to build that to 1,700 properties. Probably part of the success of the growth was our technology that we had built, which was built by my brother-in-law, Mike Van Raders, and then we had a lot of agents start to ask us how could they use our system. So made a decision to basically sell Pro Rentals and then sort of start a software business with my brother-in-law Mike and Rebecca and sort of Amanda in our team. So where we are today is we have over 2,000 offices across Australia that use our system every day. We have approximately 10,000 property managers that log in every day to the system that Priscilla's about to show you. The idea being to really save you some time. It's 100% made here in Brisbane. It's 100% owned by Mike and myself. We had an interesting day last Saturday. I was just telling Priscilla that we went to Toowoomba, Mike and I and a few other people, testing one or two of our new sort of products that we've got coming out. And we spent the day with Katie Knight out on an inspection run. And again, a lot of the stuff that we built in the early days at Pro Rentals, but to actually go out on an inspection run a few years later and see her use it was quite amazing.
Yeah, and Katie was one of your first
clients?
Correct.
Yes, I did the demo on that one personally, and she didn't come on board first time.
Really?
Yeah, I think it took 2 or 3 sort of demos.
Yep.
She had that sort of reluctance, you know, trying to work out how that would fit into her business, all that sort of stuff. But what I was stunned with the entire day, she just turned up with her phone, which is mobile ROL that you're about to see soon, and a paper-based application form, so she could hand them out, or also SMS links to the people who she's shown. But every single person who turned up to all those inspections had pre-registered. Katie was straight away to say welcome to the inspection, could straight away tick them off, know who they were, and every single open we did had a full attendance. It was quite incredible.
Wow, excellent.
Yes, and purely because of the ability for those people to sort of pre-register. People can also confirm as well. So Katie had this one inspection where we had 3 people registered, 2 of them had confirmed and the other one hadn't. So she then rang them on the site out the property to see if they wanted to attend as well.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we laughed about was that, of course, when I first started in the industry, and so did Katie, we just go to an open home and pray that someone was going to be there, right? And to see the interaction, to welcome people who you knew who were coming was just outstanding. So thank you very much for joining us. This is our first ever live broadcast demo. Very much appreciate your support and really encourage you to try InspectRealEstate and see the way that it really helped us when we were on the tools as property managers, and then also how it's helping so many others in the industry. So thank you, and over to Priscilla.
Excellent, thank you, Andrew. Okay, so what we're going to start with first this morning is everyone would have received an email from me with a link to a rental property on realestate.com. So if everyone can click on that link, it's for 12 Milne Street in Clayfield. I'll give everyone a few seconds to do that. And if you can have a look on that link, what you're viewing is 12 Milne Street for Calibre Real Estate. So this is a property that they've got up for lease. It's not available until the 21st of October in 11 days' time. And when you scroll down, what you can see is a book inspection button. So the reason why I'm demonstrating or showing this to everyone right now is I want to really illustrate the process for a tenant in booking an inspection within your agency. So the way that real estate officers generally process inquiries for tenants is they either can list an open for inspection time and, like Andrew explained before, pray that someone arrives, or they can not list a time and wait for the inquiry to come into their inbox and pick up the phone and ring the tenant and try and book them in. With InspectRealEstate, we have this book inspection button. So if everyone can click on this link for me, and what they can see is the tenant has an option of a day and a time. Now, when they click on the day, they can select the day and time that the real estate agency has scheduled the inspection for. So as you can see, 12 Milne Street is being shown by Calibre Real Estate on Friday the 13th, and the time is 11:45. So if everyone can click on those 2 sections, the Friday and the 12:45 or 11:45 time slot, and then enter their details. So I'm actually going to enter my details in here, and I'd like everyone else to be entering this with me. So first name, last name, email address, and mobile number. Now, once that's entered, you can simply click on submit and it'll actually say booking confirmed. Now, everyone is going to receive an SMS right now, and that's what the tenant receives to confirm that they're booked in for the inspection. And they'll also receive an email. Now, real estate officers can determine if they send an email and an SMS or one or the other. I definitely prefer the SMS going instantly to the tenant that books into that inspection so that they're confirmed that they're in and that they're not expecting a phone call from the leasing officer or property manager first thing the next day. Now, once you've registered for that inspection, that SMS will come through and it's confirming that they're registered for that inspection. Now, for the tenant, I know when I was looking for a rental property, I'm not looking between 9 and 5 because I work full time. I'm looking for a rental property outside of business hours when real estate offices aren't open. So for tenants to be able to get that instant confirmation that they're booked in for an inspection, what it means for the real estate is that essentially your office can be open 24 hours taking inquiries on properties. Once the property manager or leasing officer then comes in the morning and opens up Inspect Real Estate ROL Rentals, they can see who's booked in for their inspections simply by looking at the inspection summary page. So what I'm showing now is the inspection summary page, which will list all of the properties on the vacancy list for your office. And there's a few key columns that I'm going to discuss in more detail, one of them being this tenants booked column. So as you can see, this tenants booked column, I've got 2 people registered for my inspection at Winchester Street in Ascot. Now, those people would have gone onto realestate.com, found that property and booked into the inspection, got an instant confirmation that they're booked in, and then the property manager can come in the next day and see, okay, great, I've got 2 people booked in for the inspection. So if I click on that, I can actually show who those 2 people are. Now, I've actually registered myself and a colleague, Dan, so I can see who's coming to the property. So when Andrew mentioned before that Katie Knight was turning up to inspections on a Saturday and knowing everyone who was coming through, it meant that she wasn't going to a potential no-show on an inspection. Now, if I just click back to the summary page, what I'm also going to show you is the 3 properties that I've got listed here. You can see I've got 2 in red, and I've got 1 in green. Now, the green signifies that I've got an inspection organised and I've got people registered for the inspection. What the red indicates is that there's no one registered for an inspection. Before I go any further, I also just want to flag a couple of more important columns. So the tenants waiting column. A lot of real estate officers that I speak to, they either handle their inspections one of 2 ways. One, they list open for inspection times on all of their properties, or they gauge a property and they might not list an open for inspection time and they might actually wait for the inquiry to come in on a property and then they're going to organise the inspection. So I know when I managed 242 properties and I had busy season coming in, if I had a property that wasn't available for 3 months or 2 months, I potentially wasn't going to be setting up an open for inspection time just yet, because the chances of getting someone looking on that property 3 months early was probably slim to none. So I would wait for that inquiry to come in and then I'd organise an inspection. So with this tenants waiting column, that handles that fantastically. So when tenants are coming on and viewing a property that doesn't have an open for inspection time, on realestate.com it'll say, please register to be advised of a time. So the tenants come into this column here, which is called tenants waiting. So the property manager then is notified essentially that someone's waiting to be notified of a time. So I'm actually just going to register myself for a property that doesn't have a time. So you can see here, no inspection times available. So I'm going to register my name and mobile number. When I need to move by, so let's say I need to move by the weekend, inputting my email address, and I'm going to register my details. Now what that is going to do, it's going to instantly send me an SMS that's going to say, thank you for registering your interest in the property at Winchester Street, Kent Street, and it's going to say, we're now going to notify you. So hi Priscilla, we're arranging times to inspect 5 Kent Street. We will contact you as soon as that's been arranged. So I'm notified instantly as a tenant that they've got my inquiry and that they're going to organise an inspection. So I'm a tenant not expecting a phone call from a real estate. As soon as the real estate or the property manager or leasing officer comes in the morning, what they're seeing is this tenant waiting in this column here. And I can click on it and view who that tenant is. So you can see my details there. And then what I'm going to do as a property manager is I'm going to organise an inspection because I want to show that person through. So I would simply click on Inspections, New Inspection, start typing the property address or click the drop down. I'm selecting who's showing the property. So if I've got a leasing consultant, I can select them at this point. I'm just going to select myself. Today's date, and let's say this afternoon at 6 o'clock. Save the inspection. Now what the system's going to say is it's going to prompt the property manager. It's going to say, look, there's one person waiting to be notified of this time. Would you like to notify them? Well, yes, I would. So once I click on that, I then as a tenant get another text message saying, hi Priscilla, please register to inspect 5 Kent Street. So I'm then signified as the tenant that there's an inspection time. So then I can click on that link and instantly be registered for that inspection. So as you can see, we've just gone from the tenant's waiting column to the tenant's not registered column. So tenants not registered indicates that they need to click on that link, which I'll do quickly right now and show you how quick and easy it is. Register inspection time. So I've just done that. And when I refresh my screen, you can see I've gone as the tenant from waiting to be notified of an inspection, instantly being notified by the property manager, to the tenant's not registered, because I'm waiting to click on that as the tenant, and then into the tenant's booked column. So what that meant for our office when we were using this system is that I wasn't coming in the office first thing in the morning and having an inbox of inquiries to pick up the phone, play phone tag with tenants who potentially, like me, were busy and couldn't answer their phone during business hours. I was coming in the office and looking at my tenants waiting column and tenants booked column to ascertain which properties I needed to organise an inspection for and which properties had people coming to my inspection. So there's a lot more involved with this side of the inspection summary page. I won't go into too much more information because we potentially would be here all day. I'm going to show you now what the leasing officer or property manager then use at the inspection to report back to the landlord and the business and to the tenants as well about the inspection. So it's actually called mobile ROL. So if I click on mobile ROL here, what it's going to show me is I've got 3 inspection runs for today. So 3 properties that I've organised inspections for. When I click on open and I look at my run as I'm the leasing officer or property manager, I'm then seeing on my app on my phone that I've got Winchester Street inspection at 2, I've got Noble Street at 4 and Kent Street at 6. So I've got a busy afternoon. Now straight away I can gauge as the property manager that I've got 2 people registered for Winchester, I've got no one registered for Noble Street. So I know I'm not turning up to that property. I'm not wasting my valuable time driving out to a property that's a no-show. And Kent Street, I've got 1 person this afternoon. Now, I love the fact that it actually pulls all of your key numbers into mobile ROL. There was nothing more frustrating for me when I was showing properties, whether or not it be a leasing property or routine inspections, not being able to get my key numbers out of our trust accounting software for whatever reason, backups happening, receipting happening, or whatever it might be. So having that on my phone, I can just grab my keys off the hook and away I go. So when I'm at the property, tenants are coming in the door, we can see who's coming through. So Dan's coming through and I've registered myself. Now when tenants are coming through, I'm clicking on that they've attended, I'm asking what their name is. So I'm going to click attend on myself and Dan. And then as they're coming through the property, I'm gauging whether or not they're interested in the property. I'm asking the questions. Can you see yourself living here? Would you like an application? I'm asking for the business essentially. So if Dan says, well, no, Priscilla, no, I'm not going to apply for this property. Well, okay, Dan, give me some feedback for the landlord. So you can put that feedback in here, which is really important. I know when I was trying to get price reductions on properties that I felt were a little bit overpriced, having that tenant feedback for the landlord was sometimes key to getting them to adjust that weekly rent. So we can put, child friendly, not fence, whatever it might be, that's fully customizable as well. Now I'm going to then scroll down to Priscilla, and Priscilla would like to apply. So yes, I love the property, I'd like to apply. As soon as the inspecting officer is saving that inspection, they're instantly able to report on that inspection from the property. They're not having to come back to the office and pick up the phone, call the landlord, or delay giving that update to the landlord. Now, the reporting feature is just at the top here, and there's 4 reports that you can send. The report that I love is the quick owner report. So if I click on that, instantly I can send the landlord an email that says, Dear Priscilla, because I'm set up as the landlord, as part of our process of finding new tenants at the property, 28 Winchester Street, Ascot, we've recently held an inspection. And it'll say Thursday at 2 o'clock. It's now 2:15 or 2:30, and this landlord's getting that instant feedback. 2 people have attended, 1 person's applying. Regards, Priscilla, Priscilla's Real Estate. All agent branded, very professional and instant. They can also send an SMS to the landlord as well. Again, that is optional. You can turn it on or turn it off depending on how your business wants to run. I have to stress though, with any system like this, you do have to overlay your own management procedure on top of any product or program in your office. So for us, this reporting, whilst it was fantastic because it was instant to the landlord, we then also did our owner update phone calls to the landlord as well, because again, those more touch points is what gives that professional service. I know if I had a landlord that had a vacant management, I knew that that landlord was thinking about that vacant management probably 5 times in one day. And if I wasn't on the phone to them at least 3 times a week discussing how we could reduce the vacancy, get the property rented, then there might have been an opportunity that I could lose that property to another real estate agent. So I didn't want that to happen. So this is another level of communication that you can instantly give back to your landlords. When I'm speaking with property managers who are heavy in growth and business development, I discuss this exact tool with them, in that when they're doing their listing presentations with a potential future landlord, that they're discussing, look, this is the technology that we've invested in to keep you updated on your property when it's becoming vacant or when tenants are moving out and moving back in again. And I really discuss with them the value in their listing presentations about exactly that. There's a few more key features within this mobile ROL that I personally love. And one of them is the tenant messages. So with tenant messages, any tenant that has attended the inspection and has indicated that they want to apply, instantly you can communicate to them. So you can send a text and an email, or one or the other. And a lot of agents that I know instantly send a message to those tenants saying, thank you for attending the inspection. You've indicated the property, you'd like to apply for the property. Please find a link to one form, or please find attached our application forms and how to apply through our agency. So instantly they're getting that communication. Tenants that have attended and aren't interested in applying, that automated message, once you click on that, can be, thank you for attending, you've indicated the property wasn't suitable for you, however we'd love to show you through one of our other properties, please find attached our vacancy list. So it's prompting those future clients or tenants to look back at what you've got available in your business and not go back to the drawing board essentially of everyone else's listings. So I won't touch on too much more there. If anyone has any questions, again, you can just text 0438 445 671 and we'll be answering these questions throughout this demonstration. Now I'm just going to close down mobile ROL and head back to the inspection summary page because I want to explain the third part of ROL rentals, which is application tracker. Now, application tracker was developed in our office at Pro Rentals because of a need for, I guess, transparency within the business of where all the applications are up to. So if I just click into application tracker, what I can see is instantly how many applications have come in on the properties. So I've got 4 in total, and it'll show me what stages they're up to. So what ones are in still being the first stage of processing, all the way through to waiting on payment from the tenant that they've been accepted. So if I click in here, I can see I've got 3 applications on Kent Street, and I've got 1 application on Noble Street. Now, when the applications come into application tracker, if you are using one form, they instantly come in here and they're in the processing stage. When you're changing the statuses, the person that's applied for the property instantly gets an SMS and an email, or one or the other, letting them know, thank you, we've received your application, it's now in the processing stage. The reason for that is because what we found at Pro Rentals is that when we were receiving applications, we weren't always communicating with that tenant until we were ringing them to let them know, hey, you've been approved. Awesome, you know, come and pay your holding deposit or this, that or the other. And sometimes that processing stage could take 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, hopefully not 3 days. And we were delaying communicating, or we weren't communicating with those tenants over that time. So they could potentially be thinking, well, you know, Priscilla's had my application for 2 days, I must not be getting the property. I better go and, you know, put in my application elsewhere on other properties. So with application tracker, we could instantly communicate every step of the way where their application was up to, and then that way they weren't thinking, I might not get the property, let's go and look at something else. Because, you know, if you've got an application on a new business property, you don't want them to be thinking, you know, if they're a great applicant and you're processing the application and trying to get the approval, you don't want them thinking that they're not going to get it because you haven't communicated with them in 2 days. So as we're changing the statuses, they're getting that SMS to let them know, hey, great, your application has now progressed, it's now with the owner. This system is also fantastic because when an applicant has been approved for a property and they come in and pay the deposit or first 2 weeks rent, or they transfer it through, as soon as you're clicking on paid, it's actually instantly going to notify every other tenant that's applied for the same property that they've been unsuccessful. Now, fantastic, because I know, you know, from my own personal experiences, no one likes rejecting applications. It's not a fun job. I know that it was the last thing that I would do in the week, and sometimes I would miss doing it, which was frustrating because, you know, tenants weren't very happy when it would take me 7 days to let them know that they weren't successful. So with this system, it will actually let them know, hey, you've been unsuccessful for the property, the owner's actually gone with another applicant. Now, if they're an application that's a great application and you'd love to see them in one of your other properties, why not have an automated message that says, however, you know, we've fully processed your application, we'd love to see you in one of our other properties, here's our vacancy list, let us know if anything else suits your needs and we'll get you through that inspection. Unsuccessful, unsuitable, if you haven't already rejected a not suitable applicant, then they can be on an unsuccessful, unsuitable, and they won't actually get the attachment of your vacancy list. Another key feature in this system is the whole business actually then knows exactly where every application is up to as well. Any questions come through yet? Cool, no questions yet. I'm guessing everyone's going to have a lot of questions when I call you after this session. So I think from application tracker or from the inspection summary page, which I showed you first, to the mobile ROL, to application tracker, there's a lot of more features within the product that I can show you, and I'd love to show you after this session. I'm going to be calling everyone after we finish today to actually offer, to set your office up and to go live with ROL Rentals to start using the product. We've actually got a team of people here in Indooroopilly that are ready to get offices live and using the system and letting the system, I guess, speak for itself. And if you're wanting to then go ahead with having ROL Rentals in your business, we'll give you, 30 or 60 days to make that decision. So I guess I'm going to leave you all now. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to be streaming live demonstrations of all of our other products over the coming weeks. We've actually got nearly 6 products with InspectRealEstate now. We've also got 2 to 3 that are coming out really soon. So it's really exciting, and I can't wait to share that with everyone in the future. So thank you.